Whenever you are.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to make a land acknowledgement. I'd like to recognize that the area that we call the Fraser Valley Regional District has been home to Indigenous peoples for generations. There are 31 communities with reserve lands in the Fraser Valley Regional District's jurisdiction and as many as 69 groups with interests in the area. We honor our commitment to collaboration, inclusion, and reconciliation in our work here today. So with that in mind, I'd like to call to order the May 15th, 2025 Electoral Area Services Committee meeting. Ms. Kinnaman.
Thank you. So the first item on our agenda is the chair's report on the Regional and Corporate Services Committee meeting held this morning.
Okay, thank you. This morning, outside of the issues which are laid out in the head sheets and the agenda, regional grant and aid reporting, Director Castle would like to see a record of how regional grant and aids are spent. We got on to then car seat recycling pilot program. Director Makahonic questioned the background to this idea, and staff explained that this was a result of an idea encountered at a convention. If there is support, the program might be in place by July. Then we talked about the Parks and Trails strategic plan. Director Wardenberg questioned whether amenity cost charges could be applied, and staff replied that they would look into this. We then moved on to the BC Transit 2025 to 2026 expansion funding. Director Castle expressed disappointment that the North Fraser expansion will not be going ahead at this time. This concern was also spoken to by Directors Horn and Facio. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. So looking for approval of the agenda, addenda, and late items. And I would just note that staff are recommending withdrawing item 12.2.
Okay, move Director Castle, second. The protocol is that the public are allowed to speak to agenda items at the end of the meeting. This item has been taken off the agenda, so you wouldn't be allowed to speak to it.
But what you're going to be voting on is an illegal act.
No,
you're not supposed to be voting. You were notified yesterday without any reports that this will be removed.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate. Sure. I appreciate.
According to the Local Government Act, Section 490.
Chair Dickey.
Okay.
I might recommend that this is not an opportunity for the public to speak, and if the individual does not wish to conduct themselves appropriately, you may ask them to leave the meeting.
So I appreciate, sir, that you have a lot of concerns in regards to this item. We have to follow correct meeting procedure here. You're not allowed to speak. I would like to say that you are out of order.
Chair Dickey, would you like to call a recess?
Okay, so back to our agenda as amended. Motion move Director Castle has already been, Director Adamo second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Contrary, the motion carries.
Looking for a resolution to close the meeting.
Motion, Director Castle, second, Director Johnson. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor? Contrary, motion carries.
Okay, well, while we recess and close the room for the closed meeting, I would just ask that those members of the public joining us online via Zoom, please disconnect yourselves, and you can reconnect in approximately 20 to 30 minutes when we reconvene the open session. All right, Chair Dickey, we're ready to reconvene.
Good. So, Ms. Kinnaman, I'll ask you to move.
Thank you. Yes, so we'll move to item 8.1, which is the draft Electoral Area Services Committee meeting minutes of April 10th, 2025.
Director Adamo, second Director Johnson. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Contrary, motion carries.
Next is 9.1, which is attendance at Keeping It Rural Conference 2025. There is a motion for your consideration.
Motion.
I'll move the motion.
Director Castle. Director Dixon. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Contrary, motion carries.
Item 10.1 is the 2025 grant and aid request for the Boston Bar North Bend Enhancement Society in Electoral Area A.
Move Director Johnson, second Director Wardenberg. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor? Contrary, motion carries.
10.2 is a 2025 grant and aid request for the Hope Mountain Black Bear Committee in Electoral Area B.
Move Director Adamo, second Director Johnson. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Contrary, motion carries.
10.3 is a 2025 grant and aid request for the DeRoche Farmers Market in Electoral Areas C and G.
Move Director Wardenberg, second Director Castle. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Contrary, motion carries.
10.4 is a 2025 grant and aid request for the Chilliwack Vedder River Cleanup Society, Chilliwack River Valley Cleanup Fund, Electoral Area E.
Director Makahonic moves, second Director Johnson. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Contrary, motion carries.
10.5 is a 2025 grant and aid request for the Cultus Lake Community School Association in Electoral Area H.
Move
Dixon.
Director Dixon, second Director Castle. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor? Contrary, motion carries.
10.6 is Financial Plan 2025 to 2029 Amendment for May.
Motion Director Johnson, second Director Wardenberg. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Contrary, motion carries.
10.7 is the 2024 Electoral Area Annual Development Cost Charge Report. It's an information item. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Discussion.
Dixon.
Go ahead, Director Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just kind of curious about this one more than anything is because I believe both of these are for POPCOM. Do we still get development cost charges when in new developments, or has this been around for a while?
Staff.
Just going to look over to Mr. Daniluz and to Ms. Klein to see which of them would like to take this one.
I can take a little try at this. So for this this report for the DCCs, we only have 2 DCC bylaws, and they are from 1992 and 2011. So there hasn't been any new ones since that time.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Thank you, Director Dixon. And that is an information item only.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move. We'll move to 10.8, which is the 2024 Grant Financial Accountability Reporting. Again, an information item, but happy to answer any questions.
Discussion. Hearing none, we'll move forward.
11.1 is the Fraser Valley Regional District Electoral Area D Integrated Water System Service Area Amendment Bylaw number 1785.
Motion. Move Director Adamo, second Director Wardenberg. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, contrary, motion carries.
12.1 is the Fraser Canyon Complete Community Study Project Update. It's an information item, but staff would be happy to discuss.
Any discussion? Hearing none, moving forward.
12.3 is Development Variance Permit 2025-03 to vary setbacks for a detached staircase at 20962 Sauqui Creek Road in Electoral Area C.
Move Director Wardenberg. Second Director Johnson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor. Contrary, motion carries.
12.4 is Major Official Community Plan and Zoning Amendments to facilitate the redevelopment of 52285, 52375, 52425, and 52445 Yale Road, Electoral Area D, into a residential subdivision with commercial and multifamily land uses.
Move Director Dixon. Second Director Johnson. Discussion. So if I might, staff, I would like to propose an amendment that the third clause of this recommendation, that at the end of it be added that and that these changes should reflect the existing official community plan. So I would need a seconder for that.
Dixon.
Second, Director Dixon, discussion.
Dixon.
Go ahead, Director Dixon.
Sorry, I forgot to raise my hand. Anyway, I am happy to see that we have some discussion on this, and I guess I think that it is important to really listen to the existing community members as well. I know that when I read a lot of the comments and things like that, that it's not as though people are opposed to more development, but I think that it'll be interesting to see, hopefully, that as the staff and the developer work together, that the interests of the community are really kept at the top of mind as well. So I look forward to hearing further from this.
Good. Thank you, Director Dixon. Director Davidson.
Yeah, just echoing, I guess a little bit the thoughts of Director Dixon. I look at it this way: there's lots of voices out there advocating for provincial interests and provincial goals and agendas, but if we don't actively advocate for the communities, there's nobody else who can. So fully support the amendment. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Director Davidson. And I just might add that under the recent provincial housing legislation, I think it's Bill 44, and the allowance for ADUs to be attached to any single family home, that there will be much more density introduced into the community than was expected at the time of the rewrite of our official community plan. And our official community plan in Popcom was a multi-year task, involved a lot of expense and a lot of input from the residents. It's recent, and I think at the public information meeting that was held in April, there was a very loud response from the community that they would like to see that official community plan respected, and that's what they envision for our community. So on the item, all those in favor? Contrary, the motion carries.
Chair Dickey, that was on the amendment, so you need to have a motion as vote on the motion as amended, please.
Thank you, staff. All those in favor of the main motion? Contrary, motion carries. We're good?
We are. Thank you. Item 12.5 is Agricultural Land Commission application for extraction and placement of fill at 59710 Lougheed Highway in Electoral Area B.
For motion, move Director Adamo, second Director Johnson, discussion Director Adamo.
Thanks very much, and thanks for the staff for putting this program together. I've pretty much gone through everything numerous times and come to the same conclusion that staff have in their motion for consideration. So I would be supporting that. I have a great deal of concerns over this particular project on that particular site in the last number of years. Many things have occurred on those lands or have been proposed to occur on those lands, and none have come to fruition, and none of the requirements have been really fulfilled to what I would feel comfortable with, and along with our First Nation neighbors across the road as well. So yeah, I'm supporting that motion for consideration. Thanks.
Good. Thank you, Director Adamo. Any further discussion?
Chair Dickey, may I have your forbearance to interject?
Yeah.
Thank you. We've been advised even today or yesterday by the applicants that they are withdrawing and canceling their ALC application. And we have that in writing. And so there is no need for the Electoral Area Services Committee to pass a resolution, though of course it remains open to you to pass a resolution as you see fit.
Okay, so we already have a resolution on the floor. The mover would like to see it go forward, or would like to see
No,
it?
I believe it would be appropriate to withdraw that motion then. Is that correct? In light of this new information?
It certainly would, but as I suggested, if there's a resolution that you wish to pass, then it certainly is your prerogative to do that.
Good. So we'll just withdraw that.
So, Chair Dickey, I'm just going to have our corporate officers comment on the correct procedure to withdraw a motion.
Thank you. So once a motion is moved and seconded, it belongs to the body as a whole. And so as long as the committee unanimously consents to withdrawal, we can do that, as long as everybody's in agreement.
Okay, so we would need a unanimous approval to withdraw. So that is what we are deciding right now. All those in favor of withdrawal? Yeah, it appears we have unanimous withdrawal.
Thank you very much. So moving to 12.6, we have Area C Official Community Plan Update, Revised Engagement Strategy, and Public Feedback, post first reading. Motion for your consideration.
Move Director Wardenberg, second Director Dixon. Discussion. Director Wardenberg.
Yeah, thanks staff for this comprehensive report and an ever-changing environment, you might say. Just want to say I did have a chance to read this thoroughly a couple times, and I did read the feedback that we received by the public on your Have Our Say website. And I do, I do, take interest in that. I read it constantly. What I don't, we've been in this process for a little while now, and I don't see anything from the stakeholders at this point in time. And it's been almost a couple of years, and we've heard from the public a few times. But as far as the First Nations and the stakeholders, I haven't heard anything yet. So I was just wondering where that was, what that information is, where it's coming forward, why we haven't heard from it earlier.
Through the chair to Director Wardenberg. As after the plan received first reading, staff did proceed with sending referrals to Indigenous governing bodies as well as stakeholders and other affected parties within the plan area. We have received referral responses and in some cases have made amendments to the draft plan in response. Those will be summarized for committee and board in the coming months in advance of second reading of the plan.
Okay, thank you. And regard to the feasibility study, yeah, I do agree with the new engagement strategy completely. As far as the feasibility study, is that the only report that we are waiting on, or we haven't got yet at this point?
Through the chair to Director Wardenberg, that's correct. That's the final technical study that we have been waiting for in order to proceed with further consideration of the plan.
Okay, one more question if the chair allows. The references are mostly to the Lake Airrock neighborhood plan as far as the feasibility study. Will we see the Harrison Mills neighborhood plan feasibility study, and when will we see that?
Through the chair to Director Wardenberg, a summary of the feasibility study for the Harrison Mills neighborhood plan will be included in the second reading report, which will be brought forward to committee and board.
Good. Thank you, Director Wardenberg. So on the motion, all those in favor? Contrary, the motion carries. Ms. Kinnaman, it's a little unnerving. This Shredmaster box here seems to be trying to converse with us. Is this
I wondered what that noise was, and I'm actually not sure that that is what is making the noise, but we were having some work done on the roof today, so I'm wondering if it's coming through the ventilation system and not the shredder. But hopefully there are no gremlins in the building today. We will look into it immediately after the meeting. Thank you. So 12.7 is special event permit 2025-01, the Canadian Archery Challenge. There's a motion for your consideration.
Move Director Wardenberg, second Director Castle. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor. Contrary, motion carries.
moving down to reports by electoral area directors.
You're going to give us a pass, Director Johnson. Thank you anyways. Director Adamo.
Just a couple of things. Trying to think of when we're coming back here, but I can do that in the next month. Been meeting regularly with our ratepayers associations and extreme concerns in one of our areas with an advanced crime rate or an increased crime rate. So I've been in touch with Staff Sergeant and have set up some meetings with community groups as well as myself to take place over the next month. And we'll be taking a new look at how that approach is taking place and what our staffing requirements are into the future. So we're just, they can rest assured that we're on top of that and trying to do as best as we can.
Good. Thank you, Director Adamo. Director Wardenberg.
Yeah, thank you. Very short. I had a chance to attend the Lower Mainland Local Government Association conference. Went very well, and happy to support all the resolution brought to the floor by the Fraser Valley Regional District. Also, I attended a transit meeting at the Harrison Mills Community Hall, which wasn't that well attended, and unfortunately we had bad news on that this morning as far as the funding was not approved, but the planning is still ongoing, and look forward to a second attempt or another attempt next year for funding for that. And yeah, that's about it for me.
Good. Thank you, Director Wardenberg. Director McAhonick.
Thank you. Just wanted to express my gratitude to all of the first responders and everyone in the community who came out and helped in the search for one of our smaller community members, and it was successful and really a nice outcome, and really heartening to see that community spirit of everyone coming together. I'm happy to report our Fire Smart Chipper program was completed Monday, and we have our highest number yet. I don't have the exact number, but I'll get that. We've been having situation with since the homeless population was evicted from Sawali land. We've been having some issues in Area E. I've met with both acting superintendents of the RCMP. I've sent letters out to just about every ministry that has any mandate to do with anything related to public safety, housing, environment, forestry, natural resource. So I've got a lot of that going out. There's a lot of old growth cedar being cut down, and it's very concerning. I did have a meeting, very hopeful meeting with Chokwe, and we're actually working on the same things, but we're going to be working more closely together, and I'm really hopeful about that. The residents that have been impacted by the 2021 floods, we're still working on some good things coming out of that, and some press coverage. The journalist that has been doing the stories about Lions Bay is interested in kind of building on that for our residents as well. So anything we can do to raise the awareness to help them is great. And then finally, I just wanted to say a big thank you to our Chilliwack River Volunteer Fire Department for the lovely Mother's Day breakfast. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Director McAhonick. Director Castle.
Thank you, Chair Dickey. I had an opportunity to attend the Hatsa Flood Management Plan Update Open House at Hatsa Prairie Hall. The open house seemed to be well attended, and I was pleased to see the work being done that will inform the work of the Hatzic Watershed Stewardship Team table. I've had a couple of opportunities to meet with the newly elected chief of Lacamo First Nation, and I am pleased with the open dialogue and lines of communication that have already been established with the new chief. I look forward to working with Chief Golding and the LFN Council to improve the quality of life for all residents of Area G and Lacamo First Nation. I met with Inspector Luco from the Mission Detachment of the RCMP with Directors Davidson and Wardenberg. The conversation was largely based around priorities for policing in the electoral areas. Illegal fill and traffic safety dominated the discussion, and the inspector committed to providing current stats for calls for service in the electoral areas so that we are all aware of what's happening in our areas. And finally, I attended the North Fraser Transit Initiative Open House at Duroche Hall. And while the attendance seemed low to the event while I was there, those who attended seemed to be in favor of establishing a new transit service on the north side of the river, and they were pleased to be able to provide input into the planning of the service. And just with regards to the information that we received from BC Transit about that North Fraser transit line, do we have any indication of what sort of communication there will be to the public by BC Transit? We've been doing a lot of public engagement. Do we know, are we involved with any communications that may result as this morning's announcement?
Through the chair to Director Castle, if you're looking for an answer on that this afternoon, I won't be able to provide that, but certainly since that item was on the REC's agenda and will be here on the board agenda next week, I'll make sure that staff have a response for you then.
Good. Thank you, Director Castle. Director Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, mine's all about fire stuff too. I just had an opportunity to join Columbia Valley Fire Department as they presented their long-term awards and did a fundraiser, and it was a great event just up at one of the Chestnut Springs, one of our local areas, and just really pleased to have a chance to honor so many of our members. One of them was for 40 years, so along with our retiring chief. So well done, Columbia Valley Fire Department. Lots of the concerns I'm getting, even though today's a little bit cold and cool, people are moving into summer mode and worried about fire hazards and those kind of things going on in our neighborhood. So those are the kind of calls I'm getting, and I've sent out our evacuation guide as well as some of our emergency preparedness materials to our residents, and just really encouraging everybody to be safe. We also had the Fire Smart chipper through our area just at the end of April. Just an incredible response from the Parkview area. They took away 6 chipper trucks, I think it was 54 cubic meters, and just the neighbors there did a really good job of cleaning up their neighborhood, and they're pretty excited about that. What they aren't really excited about is similar to Director McAhonick, is that we do have some homeless camps up in the Lempton area and up behind some of the Parkview residents that, while our powers that be, I guess, are aware of them, there seems to be little appetite to actually address that issue. And so the concern, of course, is that fires can start and our fire departments can't get there. And hopefully we keep working with them. I know if outreach workers are checking in, and I'm thankful for that. And think, like most of us, hoping that we come up with a better long-term solution as time goes by. Had our Area H summer planning meeting, and looking forward to again welcoming tourists and just having some safety measures in place with our RCMP and some enforcement. And BC Parks has added a few additional parking spaces. So we shall see how that goes. That's it for me.
Good. Thank you, Director Dixon. Director Davidson.
Well, Director Castle stole most of my thunder. Meeting with Director Luco and Hatsick flood management plan. Nothing to report beyond those two. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Director Davidson. And I have nothing to report myself. So we'll turn things back to Ms. Kennedy. Oh, Director Donald.
Apologize for coming back, but I did want to put out a couple of thank yous. I was also fortunate enough to attend LMLGA this year, and we had a couple of presentations with some panels. So I wanted to personally thank Chair Ross and CAO Kinnaman for their participation in that panel, because it gave us a great insight as to the communication program that takes place within here and our teamwork building experiences. And I had a number of people come up to me that I've met over the last couple of years saying how they really appreciated the openness and the honesty of their presentation and how they participated in that. And as well, Director Pronger and Director Fascio with their First Nation presentation and panel. It was great to see members of the regional district up on the board panel participating in that LMLGA this year. It was really great to see. So thanks once again. And I wanted to thank Mr. Schellenberg for his Fire Smart efforts towards our Yale area and Sunshine Valley as well, because we've got great turnout and great participation coming up for our chipping program, and they look forward to that every year. So thanks again.
Good. Thank you, Director Adamo. Ms. Kinnaman.
Thank you. So moving to public question period for items relevant to the agenda, we'll just turn things over to our Deputy Corporate Officer, Lauren Olenek.
Thank you, Ms. Kinnaman. We do have a few members of the public joining us in person today, so I will just look to them first to see if they have a question relevant to an item on the agenda. No, they don't. And we have a few members joining us online, so this would be your opportunity to ask a question relevant to an item on the agenda. I'd ask that you'd hit the raise hand function to indicate you'd like to speak. While we give them a minute, I'll just note we have not received any written correspondence, and it appears there are no questions.
Okay, so Chair Dickey, at this point in time, then I would say we should recess this open session so that we can return to our closed session.
Good. That's what we'll do.